Welcome back everybody, Mike here. If you follow my channel, you're probably aware that I did a little clearing project this past weekend, and I have a few videos out. I rented a Bobcat E45 excavator with a hydraulic thumb to clear some trees. And if you want to check those videos out, and there'll probably be one more. I have a bunch of good footage from the other day. I just have to finish editing and putting it all together. I'll probably put that out maybe Friday night or something, Thursday night. But anyway, I got a lot of questions in the comments section about, how much does that machine cost? How can you rent one? Where can you find one? And so I figured I'd do a little video on tips, on how to rent equipment. See, first off, you may have a project lined up that you want to do something on your property, whether it be clearing trees or digging water lines or whatever. And you may already have some equipment. You might have a tractor and you think, I could probably use this tractor, but it's going to take me an awful long time to do it. And if you're like me, you just want to get it done and move on to the next project. So sometimes, you have to rent something to get the right tool for the job. Now, as far as where to get them at, that's all going to depend on your area. But I would recommend that you look for a regular equipment dealer. There's a lot of rental yards out there, but if you're going to a place that rents bounce houses and wedding stuff, whatever, and rents little excavators, you're probably not going to get exactly what you want, and they're probably not going to know exactly what they're renting you. So I would start by looking at equipment dealers. And the other thing I would do is, if you have time, stop in and see them and introduce yourself, and that'll do two things. One, they'll know you're serious, about renting something, and also you get to know each other. You start kind of a relationship with them. And but I think a face-to-face is a good thing. You imagine how many phone calls they get a day, people just calling and shopping around for price. So try to find a regular equipment dealer. Like say you want to rent an excavator like I did. There's a Bobcat dealer near me, Bobcat of Pittsburgh. I've dealt with them for years. Great people. And I've built a relationship with them. And I only rent, stuff maybe 2-3 times a year off of them. But when I need something, they do whatever they can to help me. And that's because they know me. And the other thing, when you do rent a piece of equipment, take care of it. A lot of people have this in their head that, oh, it's a rental, But no, if they're going to lend you or rent you, an $80,000 machine, take care of it. When I'm done with it, I pressure wash it, I grease it, I fuel it. That's a requirement. You have to fuel them up, before you return them. LockNLube. But treat it like it's your own, and they'll appreciate that, and they'll see that. And so that's something else. Take care of the equipment when you rent from whoever, and pretend like it's your own. Something else that I always try to do is plan ahead. Don't plan on calling someone on a Thursday and be like, hey, I need an excavator this weekend. They don't know you, never met you before. You're probably not at the top of the list, priority-wise. You know what I mean? So what I'll do, I'll stop by and see him or give him a call because I know him, and I'll be like, hey, when you have a machine with a thumb, maybe like 11,000 pounds, for some weekend coming up, maybe the next 3 weekends, you let me know, and I'll take it whenever you have it. And they always come through for me. And I'm just, like I said, I'm just a one-man band working around my property. I'm not a contractor, renting stuff all the time. So that's something else you want to do. So, get to know the dealer. Look for an equipment dealer first. Plan ahead. Don't think you're going to call today and get a machine tomorrow. And by all means, take care of the machine. And prices on these things, they range all over the place. But like that machine I got, probably somewhere between $400 to $600 for a weekend. But the amount of work that you'll get done in that weekend compared to what you can do with, like a tractor, like I have a Kubota L3901. And everything I did this weekend, I could have done with my tractor. Even the big stumps that you'll see in the next video. Big ones, but it would have taken me forever. And I would have spent, the next 5, 6, probably till winter getting cleared what I did this weekend. I mean, I dug out 50 or 60 stumps, cut a whole pile of firewood, burn all the brush up, and I did all that actually in about 12 hours of runtime on the machine. So that's pretty good. So anyway, those are just a few tips that I do that have worked for me over the years, and maybe that can help you. But start with equipment dealers. Those other rental places, nothing against them. If you want a bounce house for your kids, go ahead and ring them up. But if you want like the right machine for the job and you want a selection to choose from, you're gonna have to go to an equipment dealer. And plan well in advance. You got to ask about insurance. Some require you have insurance, some you can buy like a waiver. There's ways you can work stuff out. It just doesn't happen overnight. So that's my thoughts on that. And something else I wanted to cover in this video, there's been a few questions and about certain things that I use, and I just wanted to address that. That big fuel jug I use when I was filling up the machine, that's a VP racing jug. Greatest fuel jugs there are. I'll put a link in the description for those. They actually have a vent on them, and I think what it is the racing lobby petitioned the government or whatever and said, hey, we can't win races when it takes a half hour to put fuel in something, so they were allowed to make a gas can or a fuel jug with a vent on it. I mean, I don't know why we don't always have them, but anyway, they're a great fuel jug if you want one of them. Another question is the mounts I have on my Ranger that hold my string trimmer. They're actually they're gun mounts, but I use it for a gun and my string trimmer. They're called Kolpin, and I'll show you them in a minute, and I will also put an Amazon link there. And what I grease the machine with. If you didn't see my LockNLube video, you got to watch that. That thing will change your life. The LockNLube, they're fantastic. But that's it for renting equipment. Now let me show you what I did this weekend, and then while I'm up here, I'm going to split a little bit of firewood and take a load back. It poured down rain last night, and it's too wet to do anything, but I need to grade all this up and get it seeded here soon. I'll do that whenever it dries up. Let me show you what I did. So over in there, I went about another 100 feet. Probably took about 20 or 30 trees out of there. They were pretty close. Left the nicer oak trees. Left these oak trees. Right down there is my burn pit, which I left open. It's still a bunch of hot coals in there, and I'll do a little bit more work up here and keep that going, and eventually backfill it with my tractor. And I cleared a bunch down there on the other side of the Ranger in the log splitter. And all in all, it was a pretty good weekend. But this is just one of my favorite areas up here. I don't even know why. And all I did was create more work for myself because I'm going to have to keep this mowed. But that's all right. I got a mower. These are those Kolpin, I think they call them Kolpin Rhino grips. They're kind of flexible, but your gun fits right down in there, your string trimmer, whatever. They're pretty nice. So if you have a side-by-side, I'll put a link in the description for these and the VP racing jugs. Oh, and those VP racing jugs, if you live near a Rural King, they have a similar version that are cheaper, but I know not everybody is fortunate enough to have a Rural King in their area. So I'm going to crank up the old trusty Husky and split a little wood. But anyway, I'm going to split some firewood here. And like I always say, if you enjoy these videos, please click subscribe, hit the like button, and share them, and comment below. I like the interaction. And I need to apologize. I tried for the longest time to respond to every comment, but the channel is really growing, and that's really cool. So if I don't answer, a comment or a question in the comments, I will try to cover it in the next video, like I did with the fuel can and the gun mounts on my side-by-side or whatever. But yeah, keep the comments coming. I really enjoy that. Thanks.